Mm. Okay, we are live now. Yes, we are. So I got to film that notifications are going out to everybody who is to everybody who's going to be joining us for tonight. Um, Hi, Godmother. How are we doing tonight? Right now, I'm sure the notifications are going out to everyone. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit late right now. I got stuck in traffic on the way back home, but come on in, come on in. Thank you for joining me this evening for part 3 of the Grief Journey series. Tonight's topic is a really important one, and one that sometimes it gets left to kind of figure it out as it goes along. And it's going to happen like that, as tonight's topic is going to be grief and relationships when no one understands, uh, you know, how you feel and what's going on. As we go into this topic, though, I want to be very clear. I've experienced a lot of positivity when it comes, a very positive reaction, very positive support and positivity coming from most of my family and friends. Okay. Most of my family and friends have been very supportive. They've been loving. They've held me up on those days when I didn't feel like holding myself up. My girlfriend has also held me up when I didn't feel like holding myself up. Close friends I've known for 30 plus years um, really helped to hold me up in these times. And so a big thing that you're going to deal with in the grief journey is going to be how to deal with your family and how they deal with you once you've dealt with the loss. Now, it could be that they're also dealing with the loss because the person that passed away may have also been someone they were close to, related to as well. But you may also have situations where you're close to somebody in your family, maybe another member of the family on the other side of the family may have passed away, and they didn't really know them or weren't that close with them. So it may not be a different, a different perspective, a different point of view. And so you have to deal with all those different things and different aspects and different scenarios when going through the journey. And so, again, I want to be very clear. Most of my family, most of my friends, if not all of my friends, have been very supportive, especially over the last several years. Going through the amount of loss that I've gone through and we've gone through as a family, it's really been, again, it's been a journey. It's been a real journey. And so, like I said, I've been very lucky to have a support system. Name a few people. I had my godmother, my uncle, my girlfriend, one love friend circle, day one friend circle from the block, High Bridge. I've had people from Camp Wilton, which I've known for a long time, as well as people from all over, pretty much. A lot of friends and family were very supportive and have been supportive even to this day. And I'm very thankful. I'm blessed, and I know that. So that's the good side of it. When you have great support and everybody's there for you, and you have people to talk to, and they're not judging you, they're not, making stupid comments, not understanding the severity of what you're going through. But I gotta tell you, I've been involved in some situations where grief affects friendships, family, and romantic relationships in a very sour and terrible way. You get to understand how people think when they are in the midst of dealing with some severities in what's going on with them. Thank you so much, Winston's mom, for those likes. Very much appreciated. Thank you so much. So we try our best to kind of like offer support and love and encouragement when those situations happen. I know that sometimes when you have loss, immediately what happens is, everybody is there for you, being very supportive. And sometimes that support may wane, it may go away. It may go away because, they feel they've given you support in that time, and they feel that maybe they have their own lives and they have to deal with those things that go on in their lives, and they can't offer the same support that they did in the beginning. And so that happens. But as a person who took the loss, that doesn't go away. The feelings doesn't go away. The grief journey continues. And again, it's not linear. It's definitely not, it doesn't happen in a chronological order at times. So things are going to happen. The best thing you can do, though, when dealing with friends, family, and loved ones, is to be very clear and communicate clearly on what you need from them. It's okay to tell family and friends that I know you support me and I love the support, but right now, I don't really want to talk to anybody. I don't want to talk on the phone. I don't want to text. I don't want any visitors, or if you do, vice versa. But what I'm saying is, make sure you communicate that clearly to them so they know what you need. You can't expect anybody to be a mind reader. Be clear, be precise in what you want and what you need from them. And then you'll know, once you communicate clearly, you'll know who can supply what you need and then who can't, because those who can will do, and those who can't will fall off. And that's okay. That's okay. Doesn't mean they don't love you. They just can't offer you support that you need at this time. And that's okay. Because you want to have those around you who can lift you up in this time. You want to have that. So it's okay. If they fall off and they fall back, that don't mean they stop loving you. They just can't give you the support you need for right now. And that's okay. But be very communicative. Be very clear on what you need from them. Again, family, friends, loved ones, those you're in a romantic relationship with. Be clear what you need from them. So that way they're not guessing. They're not guessing. They can give you what you need. And that's really important. Make sure you communicate that with them very clearly. Another thing you want to do too is make sure you're setting the proper boundaries. Yeah, I know. You heard boundaries. You're probably trying to figure out, what does that mean? Well, what it means is, as we do in everything else we encounter in life, you have to set boundaries so that people do not overstep, understep, or sidestep what you not really expect from them, but what you would not allow to happen in that time of need. At this time, you're going through, I'm sure, a great deal of emotion, sadness, loss, grief, as it is in the grief journey. And so you got to make sure you set the proper boundaries. And that could be someone who lives in your house, Set the proper boundaries. Let them know, well, this is acceptable right now. I don't want you to. I mean, simple things. I know for me, initially, after, and even today, honestly, after losing my son, it was really hard. It was really hard for me to look at pictures of him. It was really hard. But I did it because I didn't want to feel like I lost connection with him. So I have probably a million pictures, I'm sure, via, actual photos from a 35 millimeter camera, those in digital form on cell phones and things like that. Thank you all for joining. Please come in, and please do share, because people may want to, hear what we're talking about. But please share if you can. Again, I didn't want to look at pictures of him. I didn't want to see a picture of him. I just couldn't take it. I just couldn't take it to see a picture of him. And even to this day, that happens sometimes. So you may tell somebody, listen, I don't want you to say, I don't want you to talk about my loved one. I don't want you to show me pictures of my loved one. You have to set boundaries. And sometimes boundaries mean you're going through your grief journey, right? Setting boundaries may mean, listen, I can't handle more than my grief at this point in time. So you may have to say, listen, I love you, I support you, but I can't handle nobody else's grief but mine right now at this point in time. I can't. I can't. I'm not able to do so. Now, sometimes you're able to compartmentalize things so you can be supportive to others during your loss. But that may not work for you at a particular time. So you want to set boundaries. And it's okay. Again, this is your journey. It's okay to set boundaries. It's really okay to set boundaries. And another thing I want you to do too is you need to find a community that truly understands what you're going through. Now that means that could be family, it could be friends, it could be colleagues, it could be a support group. It could be whatever it is you need to find a community of supporters. Someone who's going to have your back, no matter what's going on. They're there for you when you're ready to talk. Whatever time of day it is. Again, I was I'm blessed and I'm thankful and grateful to have the family and friends that I have because, again, no matter what time of the day, what time of the night, if I needed to talk, even to this day, I can call them and talk, And it was something that was necessary, it was needed at the time. And I'm grateful for that. So do find your community, do find those people around you, family, friends, loved ones, who are going to be supportive of you. Because you're going to need that. You're going to need that unbelievably. I mean, sometimes you're going to need that just to, at times, feel a level of normalcy, to have just a regular conversation about something. But with somebody you trust, it's not going to kind of like, rock the boat and bring up things that you really don't care about, but kind of, bring you through. And you're going to have those people. You got to find those people. You have to, because it's imperative that you do so. It's imperative that you do so. But there is one thing I do want to share, and I told you that I was gonna get a little personal, on this journey. And so tonight I'm going to tell you a story that happened during my grief journey that really almost took me over the edge, honestly. It almost had me, what the young kids say today, crash out. And so I was, I don't know where I was at. I might have been sitting in my car, coming in from just doing some errands, just trying, again, create a level of normalcy in my everyday life after going through a tremendous loss, right? Just trying to have some normalcy. And I received information that a friend of the family, actually, I'm sorry, I received information from a family friend that a family member, I want to say it one more time. I received information from a family friend that a family member was actually bad mouthing my son. At first, I did not want to believe this. I couldn't believe, why would someone badmouth my son? Listen, yes, he is my son. I get that. But I don't think, honestly, you could find one person that can give a bad word about my son. Now, he wasn't perfect, of course. No one is. But like to badmouth from a family member, that's the part that really killed me. I could not believe. And so then I got a phone call from another person that that confirmed what was said, confirmed it. At that point, I didn't even care. Too many stories coming from the same person. It's too much. I can't believe it. I need to go see what they're talking about. Well, I was already in my car already, and I wanted to go over to them and have a conversation. And I'm sure that conversation would have went left, because that's where my mind was at. That's where my mind was at that point in time. In that moment, it wasn't going to be a positive situation whatsoever. So I knew that, I felt that, and I knew at that point, I was willing to do whatever I needed to do to have them take that back, take it out their mouth, forget it forever. And I only had to sit there, and I called a friend of mine. Because what I was willing to do at that point in time was not godly. It was not godly. And I called a friend. And like I said, I was blessed because they answered the phone almost immediately. They answered the phone. And when they answered the phone, they asked me, George, what's wrong? And I told them what I was going to do, when I was going to do it, and how I was going to do it. And they said to me, we talked. We actually talked for about 20 minutes or half an hour on that phone. I never put my car in drive. I was in a car talking with them for like 20 minutes to a half an hour. And they actually prayed with me on the phone. They prayed with me on the phone. They prayed with me on the phone. They prayed with me on the phone. And they prayed. We prayed. And when I finished praying with them, I didn't have the same feelings that I had going into that phone call. And I thank God that through prayer and talking with them, I decided to not go through with my encounter and my meeting with those individuals. It was utterly important for me to make that phone call to my support. Because if I didn't do that, I have no idea where I'd be right now. See, family, friends, and loved ones, they could be your biggest support group, your biggest support network. And like I said, my support group is pretty good. But that one or two individuals really could have derailed me, actually, if I would have allowed that to happen. But because of my support group and because of my family, because of my friends who were holding me up, and to this day are still holding me up, I didn't go through with that. See, family knows where to jab you and how to hurt you. They know how to do that because they're the closest to you. People who are the closest to you have the ability to hurt you the greatest. So you got to make sure when you have your support group, your support network, and it's filled with family and friends, make sure they're the right ones. Because a misplaced word, a misplaced gesture can make all the difference. I'm so thankful to my friend who spoke with me and prayed with me because that may have saved my life. I was willing to crash out at that point in time. And I'm glad I didn't. Because sometimes people say and do things they really don't mean. But I will tell you this, to talk about the boundaries, right? Honestly, I don't deal or talk with those individuals anymore. See, I got to set a boundary for my peace. I got to set a boundary for my son. So even though I carry no ill will, I carry no hatred, nothing like that. I don't wish anything bad to happen to these people. But what I do know is I don't deal with them anymore. And I won't deal with them anymore. That's what's best for me and my peace. Sometimes you got to ask yourself, what's best for you and your peace? Setting those boundaries works very well. And it worked well for me, honestly. I have cut out a lot of nonsense in my life because my boundaries are still strong, and they will be strong. So what I'm telling you is family and friends are going to be your biggest supporters. But in the same breath, you got to be careful because not all family and friends mean you the best. Or they just don't know what they're saying. They just been talking on top of their head, not understanding the ramifications of what they're saying. And it could be they just don't know better. They just don't know better. You know? So what I do want you to do, though, I want you to let me know, okay? I have a question for you. I want you to put this in the comments, okay? Because like I said, either we all have experienced grief or we will experience grief at some point in time in our lives. So what I want you to do is, in the comments, I'm going to start a conversation. I want you to add to the conversation. And the beginning of that prompt is, one thing I wish people knew about my grief is, okay? So I want you to kind of fill in the blank. One thing I wish people knew about my grief is, and then you fill in the rest. Okay? I do want you to share this out, share this live out, invite family and friends. And we're going to end the night. One thing I wish people knew about my grief is. So I'm going to go first. Okay? The one thing I wish people knew about my grief is, it is constant. It is ongoing. And at times, it is immensely overwhelming. And I do my best to get through moments, minutes, hours, and days The grief doesn't get lighter. I just learned to deal with it differently. So let me know in the comments, one thing I wish people knew about my grief is, and then you fill in the blank. Okay? I want you to do that for me if you can. I do want to thank you as always for joining me in this grief journey. I'm hoping it's helping somebody out there. It's actually helping me. So I appreciate that. Do again, fill in the blanks. Let me know about your grief. And as always, be blessed. Have a great rest of your evening. And please do your best to stay out of trouble. Part 4 is coming soon. Part 4 is called Transforming Pain, Finding Purpose After Loss. I'll let you know when it's going to air. Look out for the postings. It'll be in Good Vibes Daily 71. Probably a couple of videos will be in there too. And I do want to thank everybody too for following me. In the last 2 weeks, I've been able to compile over 4,000 new followers. And I hope you're following me because you enjoy the content and the messaging. You guys be careful out there. Peace.